When Telltale announced that they were venturing into the Game of Thrones universe for their next video game, I was excited and worried at the same time. While many of us know them for their excellent Walking Dead series, some of us also know them for their less than stellar previous titles such as Jurassic Park the Game and Back to the Future. Is this journey into Westeros worth your time, or should you avoid it at all costs? Before I continue my review, I must point out one thing. Even if you're not a gamer, you can still enjoy this. I know that some of you who watch Thrones feel as though you're a bit past that age where you can enjoy a video game, but don't let the media make you think that it's only a kid thing. You don't need an Xbox or PlayStation to play it. The beauty about Telltale's games is that they don't require a powerful engine to run the graphics. I could play this on my phone and on my tablet without any problems, so if your big concern is not having a gaming console, you should be all set if you have a smartphone or a computer, and most of us do.
What is it you want, Lord Ramsay?
What do I want? Everything. Nothing. We'll see.
The game has you play as members of House Forrester, a lesser house in the north who owes their allegiance to House Stark. But ever since the Starks were betrayed and defeated at the Twins, your family has to deal with the aftermath. For the entire game, you'll be living the events from the show through the eyes of the characters who just happen to be there. Whether it's the Red Wedding, Tyrion's arrest, or the Siege of Meereen, it just so happens a Forrester is around the corner. But unlike in Assassin's Creed 3, there is no Forrest Gump treatment where the characters are specifically put in these situations to make it interesting. There is actually a reason for them to be there, and it's believable. Sometimes.
There must be something I can do to convince you.
For those of you who aren't familiar with Telltale's style of games, then I will tell you this now, it'll be a hit or miss for some of you. The game basically plays itself and occasionally asks you to join in to walk around, fight, or make decisions. You're paying for an interactive movie in a sense, but that doesn't take away from the enjoyment, and it does engage you like the show. Each character will have to make their own tough choice that decides the fate of others, and even yourself, and a lot of the times, just like in the show, certain things play out beyond your control, especially when major characters come on screen. The timeline of the game is around Season 3, Episode 9 to Season 4, Episode 5, so for those of you afraid of spoilers, don't worry. If you're caught up with the show, then you should be fine. What I have to praise Telltale for is bringing actors and actresses from the show to reprise the roles. Lena Headey, Peter Dinklage, and Kit Harington all come in to voice their characters as Cersei, Tyrion, and Jon, and yes, you do get to interact with them for a little bit.
Is your house willing to swear fealty to your new liege lord, Roose Bolton?
He is the Warden of the North, Your Grace.
I also have to praise Telltale for capturing a lot of the Game of Thrones elements from the HBO show. Minus the nudity, it's all here. Betrayal, blood, scheming, and the occasional magical creature. Each episode plays out like an actual episode of the show, with the intro and outro as well as the next time on Game of Thrones. It even has the dreaded episode where shit goes down and someone dies, which I thought was great. The one thing I wasn't a big fan of was the artistic style they went with. Sometimes the colors and the environment seem a bit faded, almost as though they hired some random guy to do it. Also, character movements seem a bit stiff at times, even on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Another thing I wasn't a big fan of was the one-sided, unrealistic choices you have to make sometimes. For example, there will be a moment in the game, if you progress far enough, that you can choose to take out an enemy by way of ambush. Your objective is to wipe out both enemy leaders, but you can only pick one guy to follow and kill, instead of splitting up your team and taking them both out. And I thought that was kind of bullshit, to be honest. The problem with Telltale's games is that, despite it asking you to make these choices, sometimes the end results are the same.
You can't trust a Forrester. They murdered our men.
But despite all that, the game is worth the $20 price tag I paid for the season pass, which is a good deal by the way, and I recommend it instead of getting each episode individually. If you like episode 1, which is pretty intense and filled with good moments, then I recommend getting the whole package. The entire game will take you 5 to 7 hours to complete depending on how fast you are with your choices, and even longer if you decide to replay it to check out the different outcomes of your in-game decisions, because there will be a season 2 for the game, and your choices will carry on over. But this is my review, and I have to give it a rating, and I would give the game a 3.5 out of 5. It's not Telltale's best, but it does do enough to keep you entertained, and that's why you should check it out and give it a try. It takes all the elements from the HBO television show, minus the nudity, and puts them in nicely. Voice acting is pretty good, and despite all that, it does leave behind some memorable moments.
The men here are murderers, thieves, rapers. You won't like most of them, and they won't like you, but they're your brothers now.
All of Telltale's Game of Thrones episodes are out now, and if you're a Thrones fan, you won't want to miss this one. If you have played it, feel free to comment your choices down below, because I will be posting my choices in the description. Thanks for watching, have a good one.
Not bad.